sharing knowledge session is about credit score and credit risk assessment. So I believe most of us in the room have a credit card, and most of us might have been in the position where we approach a bank for a personal loan, for a car loan, even for a credit card when we move here in UAE, and the bank rejected us, but we have not understood why. Some of the banks are a bit more transparent and they might take a bit more time with their potential customers to explain why that application was not approved, and they guide their customers to enable them to take the credit and eventually take a mortgage that might be the most, let's say, long-term relation with the bank that we have here in the country. So on that basis, as Lou was saying, I did work with different credit bureaus around the world. I started back in 2009 in Italy. I'm originally from Romania, but I studied my master in banking and finance in Italy, and then I was privileged to start an internship for the oldest Italian credit bureau called CRIF. It was founded back in 1988, just 2 years after I was born. And with that, let's say, engagement, I was privileged to travel around the world. And in this part of the world, I've been in Bangladesh, where we at the time deployed the credit bureau solution. And then back in 2015, the company won the credit bureau provider solution here in UAE. At the time, the credit bureau was a project that was rolled out by Minister of Finance here in UAE. So on that basis, the credit bureau here, it's a federal entity, does not report to the Central Bank of UAE. And this is a bit different from other jurisdictions where in most of the cases the credit bureau reports to the central bank, or there are other type of jurisdictions where the credit bureau is a private entity and they are regulated by the central bank of the country, but they don't literally report to the credit bureau. Now, why I'm here? Because my mission is really just to share this knowledge with you. I am doing it as a hobby. I do have a full-time job. And on top of that, I'm mother of twins. They are quite small, only 4 years and a half. It's when I started actually the journey with my company that I work for now, called Foremost. It's a credit risk consultancy company, so our customers are banks and central banks. My mission is really just to share knowledge about credit score and credit report and enable other people, other SMEs, to have a better life through healthy credit. And this is because back in my country, having credit has a bad notation. It's not good to have credit. However, all of us here without credit eventually would not have a normal life like we would have back home, maybe where, the house we inherit from our parents, or, because we are in own country, getting that mortgage is much easier than here in UAE. So here just few slides on the recognition that I had over the years, because I roll out the expansion of the company I work with back in 2020 here in UAE, and we started from zero to today we are working with 12 banks and the central bank itself. I was recognized as Entrepreneur of the Year twice in London, and few recognition here in the Middle East, and I am really glad for this recognition because I want other women to understand that credit, it's not just for the male gender, and I'm absolutely not against men working in banking. My brother actually works back in Romania, and actually I ended up in this journey because I saw him working in a bank. But I would just like to break that thought that a woman cannot work in a bank or a woman cannot work in financial industry, and further that a woman cannot get a mortgage by herself just because she's a mother, just because she was born with this gender. So back to the credit bureau experience. At the time, the credit bureau was called Al Etihad Credit Bureau. Just this year, last year actually, at the end of the year, they changed the name to Etihad Credit Bureau. So that's quite a useful information for you, because you might hear Al Etihad Credit Bureau, Etihad Credit Bureau is the same thing. Now there is a little bit of funny, let's say, chat behind the new acronyms, ECB. because this comes in Europe as European Central Bank. So from other parts of the world, there is a bit of confusion, but now we live here in UAE and we know that more or less everything is called Etihad, and then what is actually the organization. So Etihad Credit Bureau, by the way, it's exactly on the other side of the road. Etihad Credit Bureau here in Dubai has the premises in Rolex Tower, where I was working for 3 years as a direct employee and before that for 2 years as a vendor. And I was living actually in the hotel next to it called Emirates Grand Hotel at the time, back in 2015. I was just thinking this morning if this is just destiny or more that I'm holding a session on Etihad Credit Bureau experience in the same hotel that I was living for 3 years to serve the credit bureau itself. Here, it's me speaking to the bankers. I was privileged at the time to have in my, let's say, network one of the attendees. Gayane is joining us in a different role. She changed her path career, but she was part of my audience when I was explaining to the banks what is the credit bureau, what I will also do today here with you, what is the benefit. Of course, the explanation was more for the bank. Today we will turn it a little bit into SMEs and individuals' benefits of knowing your credit score, but more than that, how to actually create a good credit score and what will enable you to do that. So I defined this agenda, but please let me know when I should stop. I would like that this is more of an interaction discussion than me just going through the slides, because I could speak for days eventually about this. I used to say credit bureau here was my first baby before I delivered my twins. So we'll just go through what is a credit bureau a bit more in detail, worldwide implementation regulation, which type of data the credit bureau receives from the financial institution, and which type of analytics the credit bureau is developing based on that data. Of course, as we speak, there are artificial intelligence development at the credit bureau space in some jurisdiction. Yes, in some jurisdiction, not yet. What is the credit report and the credit score itself? And I was having a bit of time yesterday night to put some print screens for you so you can visualize what I'm speaking about. And if after you would be willing to get your credit report while we are still here over the lunch, maybe you can download the application and really search for your own credit score and credit report. I hope you will not have surprises, but if you have, then I'm here to help you solve that. And then we'll go a little bit into the credit risk assessment. So what I was explaining at the beginning, a bank that it's actually doing all this credit report, credit score assessment, they do have also some internal policies to follow, and for you as end user to see why I have been accepted or why I have been rejected, or even if the bank have, approve your application, could you get a better terms and condition? Could you get better interest rate by having a better credit score? And then just some tips, how to create a good credit score. Tips in the sense that these are public information. I'm not allowed to share any confidential information from my time in the credit bureau. Also because I signed an NDA for life, not just for the period I was with them, but from the credit bureau side, actually there is a lot of information on their website on the same. Lately they are quite interactive with the customers, sending SMS information for you to get a new credit report in case your credit score improve and so on and so forth.